Welcome back to the Cric Report. And we're just past the semifinals of the World Cup. Only one big game left, and uh, we're just here to review both those games. But did you think these were the teams that were going to be in the finals? India for sure, but another team, I think Australia sneaked through when they didn't seem that strong. We'll get to them later, but I think the first game, India versus New Zealand, and I think that game went exactly like how many of us expected it would go. Big total by India, and New Zealand tries to chase it down, but it's just too many runs at the end of the day. Um, Valiant effort by New Zealand, but I think India were just better on the day. What do you think?
Yeah, firstly, the start, the toss was very important. Rohit Sharma won it, and in Mumbai, you just got to bat first.
Yeah,
Questions were asked about the due, but the due didn't come in. But you don't
no,
need to factor that. What you need to factor is play to your strengths. India's strength is the batting. Obviously, the bowling's the strength as well. But like, if the batting's you got to score big in a semi-final, and so did they. Rohit Sharma laying the platform once again. Again, it's a very, very underrated the job he's doing. He might not be scoring the 50s, the big hundreds, but the start he got them to set the tempo, like
yeah,
80 of the first 10. Just Trent Bolt didn't have any answers, so he just nullified the threat of the swing bowlers, Southey and Bolt.
exactly, and that's what Rohit Sharma's been doing every game. And like you said, once you're 80 for no loss, and Kohli comes in, he can just settle down. And if Kohli has that little bit of time to settle down and he doesn't have to play shots from ball one, then he's unstoppable. And I think Kohli's runs this World Cup have been because of Rohit Sharma, because they're off to a good start in almost every game, except for against Australia, of course. But
Yeah,
that was a
it was
different
just the start.
beast.
It was just the start as well
Yeah,
of the World Cup.
yeah, but Uh, yeah, Rohit Sharma has just been playing unbelievably well, and I think it's good signs because he is playing reckless shots, but at the same time, all the shots are coming off the middle of his bat. And when he's in this type of form, it just looks ominous that he's going to score runs. I almost feel that he's due a big score now, rather than he's got lucky. I feel like now he needs to get 100 because he's just in that great form.
Yeah, like you said, like obviously the shots, like you're an opening batter. There's two outside the field, so you may as well take your chances now. Because then what happened is the pitch got a bit slower. It was a bit harder in the middle to score some runs. You could see him very animated in the dressing room, trying to gee up Kohli and Shubman Gill to push a bit more.
Yeah,
But batting wasn't that easy as it happened. So what they've done, even if you see the second semi, which we'll talk about, the same thing. The openers try and get you ahead of the game. So
yeah,
this is where it's so good. And then you can see Shubman Gill and Virat Kohli, like you say, they can just take their time. They can play at their own tempo, and it just complements well for everyone. It's just
yeah,
he's very selfless. He's very
yeah.
selfless as a
Exactly.
captain.
I think when you have a player like Kohli down the order, who's now scored his 50th one-day century, which is just a mind-blowing number, the highest by any batsman ever. And that too in a World Cup semi-final. I mean, he's really rising for the occasion, and his form in this World Cup has been amazing. But I think the main thing that sets him apart always is the fact that he knows exactly how to play the moments, accelerate at the right time or absorb the pressure at the right time. And we'll talk about this later when we get into the South Africa Australia game. But that is one clear thing that separates this Indian team, especially in the batting. They know when to accelerate and go hard, and they know when to just sit back a little bit and absorb that pressure. And they always end up getting above par total on every single wicket.
Yeah, if you look at that same thing, we'll look at Mitchell Santner as the bowler. You could see he was bowling slightly back of a length, and he was playing him off the back foot to long gone. which is a very good skill. Like I don't see batters do that enough. They
Yeah,
would just get bogged down and then play the big shot and get out. But you see the
exactly,
temperament he had, that he's not going to give his wicket to the left armer. He has had
exactly.
trouble in the past, but this is where we separate him uh, as the best because he can play that type of a role, and
Exactly.
the way he just picks up through the innings is also commendable.
Yeah, and that's combined with the skill of the other batsmen like Gill and Iyer,
Yeah,
who, when Mitchell Santner was bowling or Ravindra was bowling, slightly floated the ball up. They were straight down the track and hit him for six straight over his head. And other batsmen don't necessarily do that, but these players are so confident in their ability and they back themselves to play that shot that they're hitting these massive sixes, and the bowler is under pressure because even a slight error and it's going for big runs. So, I mean, that's one thing that makes the Indian batting look well all rounded. But then the Indian bowling is coming up and cleaning up the rest. I mean, Shami has played 3 or 4 games less than anyone, and he's the highest wicket taker now, and he's got 7 for in the semi-final. That's ridiculous.
yeah. Just to turn up again regarding the batting, I think Dinesh Karthik did a brilliant piece in on Sky Sports talking about Shreyas Iyer's hands. They're
Yeah,
slightly further away, so he gets that arc of hitting those shots. So I think what's as a technical batter, like if you're trying to hit that ball in the air, maybe if your hands are slightly away from the ball, it helps you just with the swinging arc. That's why you see him hit those big sixes. Regarding the bowling, like Shami's been relentless. Like ever since that injury to Hardik Pandya, you could say it's a blessing in disguise. We don't wish injuries to anyone, but I think he's come to his own, and no wonder he's the leading wicket taker for India. And again, we'll just keep it simple in terms of coaching. He's just bowling in the right area. He's
yeah,
not trying to do, even in his interview, he mentioned he doesn't try and do variations and stuff like that. He just tries to keep simple, just hit the length, get the seam to do all the work, and the pitch will do all the work.
exactly. And that's the thing. The pitches are offering enough assistance. And yesterday, a day where Bumrah kind of went a little bit wayward. Um, and you would say it's Bumrah's off day actually, but Shami was right on the money. Bowling straight. He got Devon Conway nicked behind, straight ball, just nipping a little bit. Same with Ravindra, and then later on picking up Tom Latham in the same way. So just good length balls, just nipping a little bit, and that makes him invaluable for this Indian team. Uh, I think I genuinely think it was an off day for almost all the other bowlers, and the fact that India was still able to pretty comfortably um, defend that total. It was a very large total, but they were pretty comfortable even when New Zealand was playing out of their skin. Just goes to show that this is a very strong bowling attack, not like other years. Because if you think about it, if Bumrah did his normal thing of picking up 1 or 2 early wickets in the first 5 overs, this chase would have been even worse than what it did end out to be. So um, I think danger signs for the final, but everyone looks in good form and celebrating each other's success, which is a very positive thing.
Yeah, like we spoke about the three left-handers which he got. If you notice, again, we'll talk about the technical side of it. Devon Conway, Rachin Ravinda, and Tom Latham, they don't move their feet enough. They
Yeah,
play within that small box in the crease. I think if you're going to be able to play, you have to make sure you can move your front leg at least towards off stump to
yeah,
cover the line. So I think
exactly.
Shami is exploiting that. There's lack of foot movement as well in the batters we look at.
Ex- Exactly. Um, I think other than that, I mean, Daryl Mitchell, I think he played the same type of innings that he did in the group stage match against India. So we won't go into detail, but again, showing that he can hit down the ground, and he's a very underrated player, just very good at what he does. And he'll get that big IPL contract now for sure.
Yeah, no, he's strong. Like you can see, he's always been rescuing New Zealand in the past year or two. He's probably the most potent batter in that middle order there.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. So India looks good for the final, but who are they facing? Australia, the old enemy. Um, but I'm actually surprised they made it through. Even, I thought it was a good chase, a little bit under pressure. Australia just about held their nerve, but I think South Africa choking again. Uh, Initially, I didn't watch the game initially, so hearing that they were down 4 down for 20 and it was overcast conditions, I thought, okay, South Africa didn't choke. It's the Australians that bowled well. But after looking at the highlights, they were just giving their wickets away. I mean, Bavuma got a good ball, but other than that, Quinton de Kock tried to smash one over mid off, gets caught. Aiden Markram's playing away from his body, exactly how you said, with the left-handers. Doesn't move his feet, gets caught at point. And then Rassie van der Dussen playing way away from his body and defending it. That's the biggest sin, even as a coach, you'll know you can if you're gonna play at a ball, you attack the ball. You don't defend the ball that's way outside the off stump,
Outside of, yeah.
just waiting for the edge. So South Africa, I think they did have a mental breakdown a little bit there. I don't know if it was because of the past history in the World Cups, but I think they let themselves down because even another 30 to 40 runs from those top order players, and I think South Africa could have won this game.
Yes, looking at it, like you've seen the pattern. Like if we look at the New Zealand and the South Africa, it's very similar. But the only thing is, New Zealand were in the game because after they lost the 2 wickets, they just held their own for 15 overs. They played them out. Whereas
Exactly.
South Africa lost a further 2 wickets. So Miller had a lot more to do
Exactly.
in that sense. So if they
Yeah.
could have just kept it, and even if they were scoring 2, 3 runs and over for 15 overs, just played out a Stark and Hazelwood and knowing the conditions, then
Exactly.
then they could have had their better batters, and that's that 30 or 40 run difference you
Yeah.
talk about.
Yeah.
It's a game of small margins as well.
Exactly. And that's the experience and the composure that you have to show. Like Aiden Markram and Van der Dussen didn't need to play their shots. And South Africa would have been in a much better position even if they went at 2 or 3 and over, which is quite easy even against good bowling.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, Australians bowled quite well. I think Stark and Hazelwood showed that they're still some of the top bowlers in the world. But I just wanted to touch on the point that it's worrying signs where when Zampa plays against big teams, he doesn't do well.
Yeah, again, like Miller, if he was bowling a bit slightly too full to Miller, and if you're in his
Yeah,
arc, and Zampa was bowling slightly slower than usual. So if
yeah,
if you're bowling to a left-hand batter as a leggy, you
yeah,
wanna rush that ball in. You gotta otherwise, if you push the ball too full, he's just gonna pick you out into
exactly.
mid-wicket and long gone. So again, the plan did not work as well as you'd want. And Kolkata being a slightly smaller ground, if you look at the dimensions towards mid wicket, and Miller hits a big ball anyway. No
Yeah,
ground's big enough. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. But I think in order for Australia to do well, Zampa has to bowl well, and that's what's been shown throughout this World Cup because the other two bowlers that are bowling well finish their overs right at the top of the innings, and batsmen can just see them out and score big later on when they do, anyways. So I think Zampa has to bowl well for Australia to have a chance. But I mean, Australia nearly bottled it as well. Thanks to Travis Head for attacking and playing his natural game and it coming off today. But if it wasn't for Travis Head, Australia looks a very sorry batting team, you know, and all the hype about Maxwell. Um, I think I talked to you, and Maxwell is just overrated. I'll say it now. He is overrated, and actually, it's good on Afghanistan for letting him score 200 because that means Australia will select him for the final. Um, and that's just an easy wicket there. He's not even watching the ball, swiped across the line of a half tracker, gets bowled, and says, "Oh, ball stayed low."
Yeah, no, the middle order is concerning. If you look at Labuschagne trying to reverse sweep at that stage of the game, again, it's
Yeah,
game sense here. You play old-fashioned cricket and you win this game. Again,
exactly.
Smith. having a swipe at a ball. This is not necessary. You just have to
Exactly.
play out the over and win the game, and
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
yeah, that's the management of the game wasn't there.
Yeah. And that's exactly what I'm saying that India is doing very well. They're playing old fashioned cricket when they need to and accelerating when they need to. They haven't been messing that up. But the final thing I want to talk about before we go is Bavuma's captaincy, I thought was very poor. You know, he brought all the bowlers on at the wrong time. You know, when Australia was struggling, he instead of bringing in Maharaj, which everybody thought you should bring in Maharaj to Travis Head and
At the
Stephen
14th
Smith.
over, right? 14th
But,
over, which is a bit too late. You're chasing
yeah,
2-1 now.
but even before that, he brought in Kotze, and Kotze went for 15 runs in that over and takes all the pressure off.
Yeah,
And he has Aiden Markram bowling for far too long. You know, Aiden Markram is the bowler where you just put a few overs at the start of the innings and try to get him out. Uh, and then same with Shamsi. The fields he was giving to Shamsi were terrible. You're not gonna get a catch at silly at short leg. You know, you had a leg slip before, which was a good fielding position, but you need a normal slip. You know,
yeah.
and then finally, when they were 7 down and Kotsia comes back on,
There's no
why
slip.
doesn't he have a slip in?
Mitchell Stark.
What? And Mitchell Stark edges it straight to slip, and everybody, even club cricketers, are thinking, you have to get a slip in. This guy's bowling 145, and the batsman is just pending at it. If they had a slip in there, that catch would have been the
That's
easiest
over and
catch,
done. Yeah,
and Australia would have lost the game as well because the last two batsmen would have been under immense pressure. So I think poor captaincy on Bavuma's part, and even considering how well their bowlers bowled, I think the captaincy lost them that game.
yeah. And also, Rabada as your strike bowler. There's no
Yeah,
fate shoot in Rabada. He
yeah,
should be coming in like third. Like you should be opening with it. Give him the ball. Rough up the tailenders with some bounces. Just
exactly,
create some bite in the bowling.
exactly. They were just missing their lengths all night. Even Maharaj, as well as he was bowling too short today. You know, you would have thought in a low-scoring game you have to bowl attacking line on leg stump where the batsmen have to defend you. Or if they're trying to play a shot, like you have to bowl the magic ball in these type of games. And he was bowling short and wide outside off for just letting them defend. Shamsi was bowling too straight. Um, I just think bad thinking from and skills from the South African bowlers, bad execution by the captain, and
And the drop catches.
Australia just got over the line. I think,
And the drop catches with the fielding.
of
That's a
course,
problem. Yeah,
yeah, it's the half chances in the semis, and those just have to stick. But
yeah. I think
yeah,
yeah. Sorry, I think Australia are the best of the rest. I would say because the teams
I
have been
I
really
think
poor.
New Zealand is the best of the rest.
Rest. Yeah, the teams have
I
been
think,
really poor. Like
yeah. I think New Zealand is the best of the rest, and they would have beaten Australia uh, in the semis, I believe. They almost beat them chasing down 385, if you think about it.
yeah,
So I think New Zealand was the best of the rest, but Australia, I mean, just has the bowling and batting at least up to standard. South Africans don't have their bowling firing, and that's why they lost the game because they depend too much on the batting. And then New Zealand just face India, so that's why they lost the game. Um, but yeah, Australia just getting their bowling and batting firing at the right times. Um, but yeah, it's all leading up to be a very interesting final.
yeah. Now we look forward to it. That's going to be a crazy game. You can see
Yeah,
the tickets. People are flying over last minute. So it's going to be
yeah.
good.
I wish I did as well.
Tickets are too expensive now. They ask arm and leg now.
Yeah, at least not a kidney, so that's fine.
Yeah.
All right, then we'll be back for our finals preview before their big game on Sunday. So catch us with that as well. Thanks, Jigs,
Yeah.
and see you
Please
later.
do, please do like, share, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.